Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baisden, and joining me yet again is Green Hat Wearing, Juggling J.
Bright shoe wearing too. Let's match now. Come
on.
Okay. Coordinate.
Well, people can't see your shoes. Thank God. Lime green from top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Well, we have a very interesting show for you lined up today. We have Jessica Lewis returning to Bermuda.
Hold on. The
Hurricane. Jessica Lewis returning from Switzerland, where she competed at the Swiss Nationals. We'll have an interview with none other than Troy Douglas. Yeah, a very interesting time. And obviously an update on the America's Cup. So much more to talk about. But first, Jay, let's get a message from our sponsor.
Bermuda, listen up. D-Music is here exclusively for Digicel customers. Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free. With D-Music, you can easily search for your favorite artists and create playlists to fit your lifestyle. Plus, you have the option to download music to your device so you can find a song for any moment, even when offline. D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
Well, Jay, I had the pleasure of meeting Jessica Lewis at the airport yesterday as she returned to Bermuda from Switzerland, competing in the Swiss National Championships, which is a wheelchair event, as we know, as you call her.
The Pink Hurricane.
She participated in the Pan American Games, winning a gold medal, and then the Rio Olympics. Didn't work out, but learning curve for her. She'll be center stage July 1st at the area permit meet.
Right here
in Bermuda.
Yeah.
That's right, at the National Sports Center. She'll have 2 other competitors in the 800-meter event. But your thoughts on Jessica's progress to this point?
Well, I mean, I'm near Jessica for a little while now, and to see her still striving for excellence, and that's what we ask for in the athlete. Once you get in the mood around professionals, you're always striving for excellence. You're always striving for a personal best. Well, guess what? That personal best ends up being another personal best, and then once you reach that, you're going to get another personal best. So you may not be going against the world record holders per se, but as long as you're improving on your personal best, that's all you can ever ask for.
Well, let's get the interview at the LF Wade International Airport yesterday with Jessica Lewis. Well, Jess, welcome back. Been in Switzerland, 2 different events, but obviously pleased with your start to, other than Arizona, but pleased with your start to the season?
Yeah, definitely. I think Switzerland went a lot better than Arizona did. Had a lot of nerves going into the first race of the season, so it's always nice to get that over with and then get into racing and get down and get working.
Obviously, your expectations for yourself are always high, no matter what you go into, but it's still early in the season, so you don't want to try to overdo things. What was the message Ken gave to you prior to heading over there?
Just to focus on what we've all been working on and just make sure that my starts were good and keep that consistent. And now we're just working on developing more power and strength to have the finishes of the races.
Right.
Yeah.
Your 100, your 200, really excellent, finishing 3rd in both.
Yeah.
Still got to work on those longer distances?
Yeah, definitely. I am dying out a little bit more, but we are seeing a little bit of progress. Like my 400 meter, I usually die out at the 300 meter mark, but I was able to push through that little part and make it to the end. We're just having to work on some more speed.
Well, obviously, it's going to be a little more challenging as you continue on in that vein, but something you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely, and we're looking forward to doing my first marathon in October, which will be very interesting.
What else are you looking forward to? Obviously, it's a long year, and we've got that big event in Bermuda that you'll be showcasing your talents July. Yep. But looking overall for the year, what goals have you set, and what goals have Ken set for you?
So our big goal this year is World Championships, which are in July. So after the race here, I'll be flying out to Ottawa to compete in Canadian Nationals there, and then we'll fly right to London after that to compete there. So the goal is just to go there and push as I know I can push, and hope to make a podium finish like I did in Doha.
Yeah. Well, we've seen you go up against the likes of Samantha, and the others. Having the opportunity to compete against internationals on a regular basis is something that has been afforded to you for a while now. I personally see you getting closer and closer and closer. How much of a frustration is it that you're not right where you want to be right now, and obviously you're still chasing?
Oh yeah, it is frustrating, but it definitely gives you something to work for. And as my dad and I always say, we're working on Operation Bigger, Faster, Stronger. So it's just keeping my head on and working hard, and the times will come, and I'll get there. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome him. I know you're only here for a short while, so enjoy it and back to work.
Yeah. Thank you.
LJ, stunning Bermuda, looking good globally. The pictures being beamed around the world through NBC, over in New Zealand, Australia, just about anywhere that has the interest in the America's Cup. Bermuda's looking good on television sets around the world and making headlines in newspapers throughout Britain. Obviously, they have an interest in Land Rover.
Most definitely.
New Zealand have that interest in Emirates. So there's a lot of people watching what's going on in Bermuda. But interesting times for the America's Cup because, as we know, we're getting closer to that time where we get down to see who will challenge Oracle Team USA for the right to pick where the next event will be. The other thing is we have boats that are damaged, have been repaired somewhat. There's not much time in between races to ensure that you could fully fix whatever damage is done. It's not like they could replace certain parts. There are parts on boats that can't be replaced. You just have to try and manage them and repair them as you go along. Obviously, if you break a rudder or damage a rudder, yeah, you can replace that. But there's certain things on the boat, and we've seen certain areas on the boats that have patches on them because of the damage that they received. As the weather changes day by day, because different conditions are for sailing, different conditions are most affected by how the sailors manage themselves. Obviously, it's match racing, so it's one-on-one. As you said in the last show, you thought they just went around in circles. But at the start, that's what's happening. Everybody's trying to position themselves to get the best possible start. So it's going to be an interesting time over the next few weeks to see who makes it to that start line to face Oracle head-to-head in the 35th America's Cup final.
Yeah, interesting enough, and just looking at some of the scheduling that's been going on the last few days of racing, you have some teams also competing twice a day.
Yeah.
And if you can watch the amount of energy that goes in just into one race to be competitive, just imagine now doubling that on the second later on in the afternoon. And there's not much time in between the races, folks. When one race is finished, the boat's already on the way out there to start for the next one. But in saying that, even before all of that, we were talking about conditions for these teams. Obviously, a new location. Many of these helmsmen have been here from the Gold Cup and all the other sailing things we've had here before, but not with these these vessels. I'm going to say vessels because that's what they really are.
Right.
So it's been a learning curve. We've seen the pedal power come in, but I haven't seen too much of an advantage of it so far during these the match races. Now, even in looking at that, we've seen, and I've heard the commentators from match to match to or race to race to race, that who was supposed to be the, let's say, the favorite for the race. Well, the favorites ain't been doing good on the matchups, but if you look at the overall standing side of it,
they're standing good.
They're standing good.
Yeah.
It's just a matchup. So it's been quite interesting racing-wise, and it's going to be interesting, like you said, who's going to actually go up to meet Oracle. Who is the top of the leaderboard right now?
Oh.
And they had some questions coming in because prior to this, crash, capsizing,
Sure.
not once.
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way. But they look like they've found, well, they've had a couple of great days, and be interesting enough, like I said, if the weather changes, how does that affect our boat? Has the other teams, and we've seen even overnight Some teams even find speed. Now, I don't know how you find the speed, but they're able to find speed technically. And certain things they could do within the crew itself, and even just how to approach the race or strategically how to get around the course. So it'd be interesting. You see, I'm far from a yachtsman right now, but I've been intrigued about the racing part of it.
Well, it's interesting because some of the things you've talked about, we could be here talking about favorites and non-favorites, but that could be a strategic move for them, because you look at it, these preliminary rounds only put you in a position to face off against somebody else. So do I want to face, or am I trying to see during match racing, do I really need to win this race, because I need to make sure that we're all in tune? So I might slow my boat down to ensure that, hey, we got across. Now in the next race we quicken that up. The next race we do something different. In the next race we do something different, because we still get to the quarterfinals, and those matchups might suit some of those guys. They might be trying to put themselves in a position to make sure that when they get to the quarterfinals and semifinals, they're in a full range of motion going forward. Now, as we know, form dips every once in a while. Oracle's hitting every mark. What happens in that downward spiral? And hopefully it doesn't come when the finals start, because, hey, it's Panic City then. You know, we saw in 2013, they were down 8-1.
Yeah.
When it went 8-5, Emirates Team New Zealand panicked.
Yes.
And race after race after race, the leads got bigger and bigger and bigger, because it was panic. They didn't sit back and sort of try to figure out what was going on. They just raced every race. Even if you remember back, the commentary was all about what they're doing wrong, and they kept doing the same thing over and over and over. So I think they've learned that lesson. They're now in, I believe, third place. They're not far behind, because a win is a point.
It's only a point.
Yeah. So I mean, you have Oracle, who started Wednesday on 6, Land Rover on 5, Emirates on 4. The other 3 teams have 2. So I mean, a lot could change between now and next week, Thursday, when we have this show. The tables could be all upside down. It's how you manage it. So I know going into it, Orca Team USA will want to be at the best of form, especially when it comes to the final. So I think right now they feel that they command the position of racing, and you might see them change up a little bit. Not worry too much about crossing that line first. I know everybody wants to win, but it's about working out the small technical things that they have to work out during the race, that they might say, you know what, hold up a second, let that boat sail by. Let's just make sure that everybody's in tune to what we're doing, because when you hear those communications over the TV, you hear some of the things that they're questioning themselves about, doubting themselves about, and in racing, in any form of racing, especially, you know, you're a NASCAR person, so if the driver's telling the pit crew chief, listen, something's wrong with the car, and he's checking and he's shouting down to the pit crew, you need to do this, you need to do that. Sometimes it's a matter of, hey, look, let's just settle down a sec. Instead of taking 11 seconds to turn the car around and changing the tires and all that, let's take, because we need to make sure that everything is safe. Now, saying that, you could do it in the 20th lap, or you could do it in the 190th lap, but you got to give yourself the best chance of winning at the end. And this is match racing, that you have to make those fine-tuned changes during the preliminaries to ensure that when you go to that final, you're on point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because talking about Land Rover, that's one of the boats that is patched up, and so it probably changed. Yeah, because we were talking about the best of technology, aerodynamics. All these things are fitted for aerodynamics. Yeah, right down to their gear, helm, everything you can think of is aerodynamic. So when you do have these crashes or these things, it makes everything goes out of whack.
That's right.
And the slightest things, when you talk about, we talk about many times, it could come down to seconds. Some races have been quite large, but there's been a few that's only been a few seconds. And I think, Earl, now I'm a bit biased because this is on the picturesque Great Sound, but I think this could be one of the most thrilling Well, that's a word again. America's Cup of all time. Not just only the setting, but where technology now meets
Yes. Yes.
great competition.
Right.
And I think when you look at the helmsman of all the teams, we're talking about world champions.
Yeah.
It's hard to get world champions in every team. That's like the NBA, the NBA was going on now, the NBA finals, but all the teams that, in the quarterfinals have been all champions
Right.
lately.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get that.
No.
You don't get that. So what you're going to have here over the next few weeks is going to transpire is not just the helmsman, but what team. It's going to be a real true team sport, not only on the water, but off the water. What true team would be the winner.
Yeah. Well, I got an opportunity to speak with former national track and field coach Troy Douglas, who is back in Holland.
Yes.
Doing several projects, but enjoying life.
Now, what's it coaching? I'm doing some work with some football team over there.
Yeah, Ajax.
Yes,
he's actually working with them again because he was working with them prior to coming to Bermuda.
You know, Ajax lost to United, right? Just go ahead. Next.
Okay. I didn't know that. When was that?
Yeah, Europa was all right.
Oh, okay. Any Bermudians play?
Not yet.
Okay, all right.
You can't make that side yet.
Which side?
United.
Okay, well, you better hope Huddersfield don't beat you next year because I'm going to remember that, and so will you. Remember all of that come next season in the Premiership. Because remember, a Bermudian already sunk you.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, and that day is about to come back
All right.
and haunt you. Well, let's get that interview with Troy Douglas, who's over in the Netherlands. I'm going to start now. Troy, obviously you've been back in the Netherlands for a little while, still active in some way, shape, or form in sports. But what's the latest news with you?
I'm still a coach. I just work in 3 different areas. I work at the university, I work at track club, and I work at Ajax. That's it. Yeah, and I'm busy with the study at the same time. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, well, you're very active, and you're one of those people that put your heart and soul into a lot of things that you're doing. But what are the new things in which you're challenging yourself to ensure that the sport is understood and performed at its highest level through the athletes in which you're passing that message on to?
One thing I'm doing now is this Masters in Coaching. That's at the Johan Cruijff Universities. It's an institute put together by the great Johan Cruijff, who died a year ago. And he put a lot of his ideas into an institute, particularly into like after high school, like university study, and also a study for coaches. And I'm doing one study for coaches. One of his philosophies was that in order to grow as a coach, if you don't know who you are as a coach, how are you ever going to be able to transfer that message over to someone else if you don't understand yourself in every situation? And after being 4 years in Bermuda, I was looking for a new challenge, and I happened to see this study come across a friend of mine's LinkedIn page. And I did some research into it, and when I came back to the Netherlands, I had an interview with them, and it really, 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 really touched me, and it's something that I really wanted to do. And in the process of doing the courses, I discovered a lot of things that's going to make me a better coach, and I'm really happy about that. So I'm looking forward to the next 20, 30 years as a coach on how I'm going to use these experiences, and particularly this study.
Everyone knows you as a outdoor, jovial, bubbly person. You're doing a lot of this indoor mastering, how to find new ways in which to develop the athlete's mind and the coach's mind and put it all into practice. How are you making out in that regard? Indoor, having to concentrate a little more, confined?
It's not a. It sounds like a confined study, but it's not a confined study. It's pretty much. I had an interview a few weeks ago about this study that it really deals with the athletes. So a lot of the games that they use, particularly when we're doing a lecture with one of our lecturers, sometimes he will go outside and put us in an uncomfortable position. And that's pretty basically what I like about it. It's very unconventional that you are put in an unconventional situation. So you described it as sitting in a classroom. Yes, you do sit in a classroom, but it's an unconventional classroom setting, and you're always forced to reflect, and you can reflect and be honest and open about yourself in a situation where the 10 other people in the classroom, you can trust them with who you are along with the instructor. So it is an unconventional study, and it works perfect in the situation that I'm in right now, particularly in all three of the jobs that I'm doing. I could pretty much test myself in all areas in what I've done in the classroom. I could test that as well in the three jobs that I have. So that's pretty interesting.
Had you had this coaching prior to coming back to Bermuda, what are some of the different things you would have been able to, I guess, put over the athletes that you didn't have in your repertoire when you were here?
Can't say that. I can't look at it that way because I am where I am now, and if it wasn't for Bermuda, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I've learned to stop saying go back and change things. I can't go back and change things. I have to accept things the way they are in order for me to move forward. So I wouldn't have. Yeah, God puts me in the position that I'm in. He knew my path before I knew my path, and it's the way it is, and I'll leave it the way it is. I'm not going to go back and try to say, okay, I would have done something different. I can't do that. No.
Of late, Bermuda has had a lot of publicity through sport, and I'm talking about the Flora Duffy, three-time world champion. She just won her first event of the year. Nikki Wells making it to the English Premier Division, and obviously the America's Cup's on in Bermuda. But from over that side, what is the talk about Bermuda and the Bermudian athletes actually putting themselves on the world stage?
You don't hear much about it. Nobody's going to ask you much about that. It's yeah, you don't hear nothing much about it. If you hear anything, it's one of my cousins. He's a huge triathlete fan, and he works in triathlete, and he knows of Flora Duffy and Tyler Butterfield. But yeah, that's it. They just know of them, and I guess you could say Bermudians are known. If I hear your question right, you want to do we get the respect? Of course we get the respect. If you're playing at a high level, you get the respect. So that's it. People know of us, and if you're at a high level and you've done what it takes to get there amongst your peers, then of course you're going to get the respect of your peers. So yeah, I mean, they're there, and now they have to do the next job. The next job is for Flora Duffy. You could be 3 times world champion, but you're not Olympic champion. And the next question is, how does she become Olympic champion? The next question for Nikki Wells is, yes, you're in the Premier League. How do you become top scorer in the Premier League? That's the next question for themselves, and for us to be proud of that. Yes, we are proud of that, and we should be proud of that. But let's move on and set the bar even higher. Don't be happy to say I went to the party and didn't party.
Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free with D-Music, exclusively from Digicel. With D-Music, you can stream and download songs and create playlists of your favorite artists to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're working out at the gym, getting ready for a Friday night, or just chilling at home, D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
Well, Jay, over the weekend we had 2 youngsters compete in the NCAA Division II Championships.
We were waiting for this.
Yeah, in the final we had Dej Miners and Shaquille Deal. In the preliminaries, they finished 1 and 3 in Heat 1, advancing. But in the finals, not their day.
No.
Shaquille finished 5th, Dej finished 8th. But overall, they stand out because they made the finals and they could become All-Americans for the men's 800 meters Division II. An excellent season for both of them. As we know, Shaquille was the national indoor champion for the 800 meters, with Miners finishing, I believe, 4th indoor. Outdoor, a little different, but still making the finals. Both of them have been outstanding for their schools, and both honored by the schools for the outstanding work that they've had this year. And it only bodes well for Bermuda. And again, July 1st. Both of them expected to be right here in Bermuda, taking part in the area permit meet.
And that's the exciting part with this permit meet that's coming up, and it's been pushed back now it's been pushed down to July. It gives the opportunity for now these our elite athletes who we're been, following, trolling as they will say now. But it gives them opportunity for them to come back, and we get to see them live. And it's not just them, but it's them up against elite athletes around the world who are in their training for the world championships and many other competitions around the world. Because now this is, and then you look at it like this, Earl, this is the next generation going through. Because you look at the likes of Usain Bolt getting to run his final race in Jamaica. And that's coming to that era. A lot of these races coming to other. So you look at some of the youngsters the youngster out of Canada, and I watched the race the other day in Washington. I was like, wow, there's a new crop of guys coming. You saw the ladies 100 meters who were used to seeing win. Well, they're hurting to get to fourth. It's a new crop of college or collegiate athletes that are coming through, and this is what is exciting because now we're talking Dej and Shaquille and everybody. So I can't wait for the permit meet, and hopefully the world will be watching. Hopefully we can get some good coverage and send out to the world.
Yes, indeed. Wow, Jay, the National Stadium is going to be really busy over the next 2 months. Only because the Bermuda Football Association yesterday announced that we will be hosting Group B of the CONCACAF Women's Under-20 World Cup qualifiers right here in Bermuda, just before Cup match.
Yeah, and I'm thinking now, you're reading the report, the press release, so by the time we will know exactly who will be coming. The draw is on June 3rd, I believe.
June 4th.
June 4th.
So actually it's the day of the show.
So that we will know. We will know when we do the show. But no, Earl, kudos to the BFA, because once again, this is where it starts from. They have to convince realistically the CONCACAF and people in the region that week number one can host it. But first of all, we have to believe that we can host it. We have to put things in place, and we have to make sure that infrastructure is ready to take on all of this. It's been quite interesting because now, like I said, we've got the sailing here on the island now. Obviously, we've had problems before with hotel rooms and stuff, and we're talking a week before Cup match, so that's going to be an issue. But with this amount of time planning, and I think with the support of the BTA, if they're not already jumped on board, I'm pretty sure they're going to have to jump on board because we said so. No, just joking.
Well, they should.
But they should be because it's a Bermuda event, but also you've got teams coming in, all right? And, we've seen them lend their support to swimming, the rugby. We've seen them in many other sporting events. They're lending the support to, and they're going to need the support for these ladies who really took our hearts last year. They really impressed us last year.
It is my hope. Because it's a Caribbean event, that the Bermuda spectators outnumber the other team spectators at the grounds. We know there's a lot of pride in a lot of countries. You see that at the America's Cup. You see the people with the New Zealand flags, the Great Britain flags, the Japan flags, because we are a diverse community here in Bermuda. But what we don't want to see is more flags in the stands of the other three countries when they're about to play than in Bermuda. There's an opportunity now for Bermudians to show support. Regardless of who's on the team, they represent all of us. And that's the most important thing that we have to get some pride.
Okay. Now, I don't know if it's much pride as much as knowing. And we've had this conversation before, not just amongst us, but we've mentioned it many times on air. Okay, so let's send this plea now out to BFA. It's May, the end of May. We're talking about the end of July. Let's not wait to the end of July to start revving up the excitement for this tournament.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
We've got 2 months. We've seen how the America's Cup has, obviously with money, but have really drummed up the excitement. Let's get creative. Let's get to our media partners. Let's get to all the people involved, and let's get some excitement going on before this tournament. Not wait to the week of the tournament and say, hey, we got some games at National Stadium. Come.
Well, we're seeing that with the men's
We've
team.
seen that how many times, Earl?
Yeah. Well, over and over.
Over and over.
Yeah.
So that's not to say it's always today is a new day.
Yeah.
Today is a new day. Let's go forward. And like I say, I'm pretty sure as Islandstats, we're here to help you, but we got to work together to make sure that our women are well represented, but also they're well supported.
Yes.
And I think that's all, just to get the support. I heard some players over the years said, man, I get so much more support when I'm overseas.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that hurts.
Yeah, it does.
That hurts.
Most people will tell you, man, I'd rather perform outside of Bermuda than in Bermuda because number one, you don't get the support at the event, and number two, the support that does show up is all critical.
Yeah.
So that's a behavior that needs to change as well.
It's a new day, Earl.
Yeah.
It's a new day. It's a new day, and I think we're like I said, we're here to help any way possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, the stadium yet again this coming Saturday. Bermuda will take on Cayman Islands in the America's Rugby tournament that's going on. It was a few weeks ago. Bermuda took on Mexico.
Yeah, they did.
Went down 59-7.
That was
but
rough.
Another 90 minutes to play. New team, new challenge. You want to get some respect back. Cayman Islands is not going to be a pushover. But I believe the guys, when they walked off the field after the Mexico game, they would have felt gutted. And I know there's some pride in that team as well. So they are going to want to come out and get an early start and really perform to the best of their ability and to show Bermuda they can bounce back.
I'm sorry, Earl. I just went on the mice just now.
Why, with the 59-7?
Well, yeah, that took me off guard a bit, right? But Earl, I'm just thinking you from a little while ago. I can't remember a time where we had so many foreign teams come to our island, so many foreign competition in different sports, so many foreign competition coming and competing at the National Sports Center in one calendar year. We've seen this now. So I've got to say hats off to whoever's making this possible because I haven't seen this.
Well, to tell you the truth, Jay, it's been going on for a long time, you know.
Yeah, well,
it's just never been.
Well, I'm talking about now it's back to back to back. When we're
Right,
talking about
right.
swimming, rugby, we've had even the teams that come down to help with the lacrosse, which the lacrosse teams have been coming for years.
Oh, yes.
But competing though. They were doing a
Right.
lot of training and stuff.
they
I
were
remember
competing. We used- we
at
had the,
Southampton Rangers years ago.
Those were college
Teams, right? So to see all these things happening back to back to back, maybe it's just like I said. Now we're actually putting out there more often. How's that?
Yeah. And we're on the horizon of having some hockey teams come in.
Yes.
There's a lot of activity that's been going on. The difference is now, Jay, is that some of these organizations are now letting people know that these things are going on. Because, to tell you the truth, there were times when I started Islandstats that I didn't know that these events were going on, but they were held in almost like in secrecy.
In pockets.
Yeah. And you would say to yourself, wow, if I only knew earlier, I could have made an attempt to get there, to cover it, da-da-da-da-da. So now they have that. They have that belief that, hey, somebody is interested, so.
Question, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just, from down the way. But would it be a great idea that under a Bermuda website, under a Bermuda sporting website, that we can see a Bermuda calendar of our sporting organizations performing here under the Bermuda flag?
That's been discussed. I believe something is in the works. The only problem is, as you know, a lot of these organizations do things on a volunteer basis, right?
Yes.
Now, here lies the other problem. They're trying to do, I know the new sporting body is trying to put together a local calendar. How many times you've seen the Bermuda Football Association schedule change? How many times you've seen the Bermuda Cricket Board schedule change?
Rough.
Yeah, so that, I mean, some stick to their schedule, track and field. Sometimes the times change. How often do you get that out? When do you get that out? Who's responsible for getting it out? So what organizations are saying, okay, we can have it, but then when the schedule changes, whose job is it to notify? I mean, this week alone, on Saturday, the track meet, there's a track meet on Saturday morning. But it's down in the schedule for 1 o'clock, but they had to move it to 9 to accommodate the rugby. So those are the things that they have to map out. And
I'm only saying this because you mentioned pride. It's hard for me to, that's why I won't call it pride, because if I don't know these things, I can't come out to support these things.
That's right. Yeah. And I fully agree with that. In order for you to show the support, you have to know what you're supporting.
And when
you're going to support it. And we keep making that same mistake. Not just football and cricket, but many other sports. In making sure that people know well in advance what is going on, who's taking part, and how you can get there and support.
Now, after that information is disseminated out to the public, then we as media, now we can start creating these stories around it. You know, who's the favorites, who's the underdog, what's the matchups, who to look out for. So now we can help create that, even help you create that buzz to entice more people. If they thought they was going to stay home, you know what, today, let's go check it out.
Let's go have a look. Yeah.
Okay, back to regular schedule programming.
Well, on Sunday going, along Front Street was the
Go Girl.
You Go Girls.
Oh, I'm sorry, You Go Girl.
You Go Girls. Relay that
different?
Quite different. Very interesting. Was good to see Ashley Estwanick back on the road running. She's had some problems finishing races of late running, and that's why she's picked up a lot of the riding. But she looked comfortable doing the 3 laps. There was her running mate, Petty Schindau, done the 2 laps with her, and then Christine, who is actually the bride, because they were, I can't remember the name they used, but obviously, the bride and her maids, I believe it's called. They finished first, but there was a group of youngsters finishing second, and an even younger group finishing third.
Bermuda, listen up. D-Music is here exclusively for Digicel customers. Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free. With D-Music, you can easily search for your favorite artists and create playlists to fit your lifestyle. Plus, you have the option to download music to your device so you can find a song for any moment, even when offline. D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
Well, Jay, Germany.
Yes.
What do you know about Germany?
A burr.
Well, Rayshawn Birch is competing over in Germany. He's got 3 horses over there. Just absolutely doing well. He'll finish smiling. He completed the international event. The final day, he finished in 4th place. He was really happy with that performance. And overall, he's happy with Spotlight Z, Canola, and Stakai 4. So actually, let's get the roundup of Rayshawn Birch over competing in Germany. Rayshawn Birch continued competing in the Klein Photoback International Horse Jumping event in Hamburg, Germany. On day 2, Birch competed in 2 classes on 3 different horses. In the CSI AMA 1.40 meter 2 phases class, Birch and Spotlight Z finished 14th. The pair recorded a clear first phase before recording a second phase time of 29.06, but they had 4 penalty full points. During the CSI AMB 1.25 meter 2 phases class, Birch and Stakai 4 finished 44th. They clocked a time of 53.22. They had 4 penalty full points. Birch and Canola finished 45th. They clocked a time of 54.20. They also had 4 penalty full points. Well, Jay, another Bermudian on the international scene is Bermuda #1 player and the world ranked 167th, Michael Franklin, flew down to Costa Rica to play in the Costa Rica Open. Obviously, conditions are a lot different. Altitude, heat.
Ooh, yeah.
He was able to advance in the qualifying round, his first round match. He handled that one, winning 3-0. But unfortunately, yesterday, he went down 3-1 to a very tough opponent from Spain. Speaking to him yesterday morning, he was saying that the conditions really, really were tough. He was able to manage it day one, but it just got to him day two. He was dehydrated. He was, things got a little hard for him. But it's a learning curve. It's at the end of his season. So guess what? In the off season now, he can look back and say, you know what? I need to do this, this, and this if I'm going to play here, here, and here. And he can mentally and physically prepare to do better.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Earl. A lot of times we only think of sports on the field. But a lot of times a lot of the preparation that's taken off the field, that's being done off the field, plays a big part of when you actually get on the field. When you're talking about recovering, and we talk that in a lot of sports. Now with squash, you're recovering because you got a next match the next day. So if you've had a grueling match, your body needs time to recover because you've exerted so much energy, you lost so much water, lost so much salt and all these things that can lead you to the next day being lethargic. And some days you just feel like I just ain't got it. The energy wise. So, but that is something that he will get used to, like you said. Sometimes you have to go to these experiences. And I just look at, you have the French Open on in tennis.
Yes.
Coming off a hard court, let's say from Australia.
Yeah.
But then to go to Spain, you're dealing with the weather, you're dealing with the
different
surface,
different ball bouncing,
Oh,
yeah.
And you see some players that do great on clay and struggle on hard court, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Very similar to squash because you're talking about the other elements that come into play.
People will look at squash and say, well, it's indoor. Yeah, but the walls handle different things and the court handle different things. Because even though it might be what you consider outdoor elements, it affects anything inside. As we all know, our buildings have mildew.
Yeah.
That's not from inside.
It's
from the elements outside, creating that on the inside. So the squash court is no different than possibly a tennis court. Like you say, you have to be able to overcome all those challenges outside the game to make sure that when you're playing the game, you give it your best shot, and you're in the best position to do so. And unfortunately, again, Mike is still learning. It's his first or second full year playing professional. To get up to, he was ranked at one point in the top 150. Hey, to finish the year the way he's finished, and Noah Brown is making his way up the leaderboard as well. Hey, it bodes well for our sport because, hey, 2018, these two guys could be playing Commonwealth Games doubles, which will take us over to another level. The last time we played doubles at the Commonwealth Games, we had Nick Carm and Micah playing with Robbie Maycock as the third person. But just to know that this time around, we could possibly be in a very, very strong position. Two professionals, two guys that are just on the outside, ready to come in at any point in time. Hey,
and you're absolutely right, Earl. And not only that, these experiences help for that event because now we've been through some things, we've toughed it out, or we've, we can draw off those experiences and say, hey, let's do this instead of let's do that.
Right.
And so I'm Michael, job well done. I mean, we're always proud of you, whatever you do. But like I said, coming to the end of your season and to still come out with some great results, can't complain.
Let's get to 2 roundups of Micah Franklin over in Costa Rica. Franklin ranked 167th, went up against Eduardo Alguera from Spain in his second round qualifying match. Franklin went down 3-1.
Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free with D-Music, exclusively from Digicel. With D-Music, you can stream and download songs and create playlists of your favorite artists to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're working out at the gym, getting ready for a Friday night, or just chilling at home, D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
Well, Jay, on Tuesday, Marcus Scotland,
Son of,
Cleon Scotland,
grandson of.
Rupert Scotland.
Okay, just checking.
You thought, oh, okay.
Because he is us a Georgia's man.
Oh, yes. Well, Marcus is playing for the Surrey under-14s. They had a trial match amongst the best of the under-14s in Surrey, getting ready for a under-14 match against Sussex. In the match, Marcus opened the innings for his team, batted the entire 50 overs, scoring 100. And you smile because it bodes well. His teammates were falling around him at one point in time, 44 for 5. But showed his discipline, showed his knowledge of if I hang around, things can happen, and just gets to show me application.
Well, a few things come to mind, but let's turn the attention to you. Do you remember your first stock?
Of course.
Do you remember your first 50?
Of course.
Do you remember your first 100?
No. Didn't get it.
Right. So
I blame the scorer.
So in saying that, for him to accomplish scoring 100 runs at his age, something that Earl Bates was never able to do in his whole lifetime.
I thought I was on 100, but I was actually on 98.
Like I said, he was never able to achieve it in his lifetime. Just that alone, like I said, to this day, 60 years later, he still remembers the scores that he's gotten. So in saying that, that's just a milestone that you just will never forget. He will remember the day he woke up, what he ate, the whole nine. He's probably got a Locky shirt or who knows, or some Locky socks. They probably stink too, but just thinking. But these are the things that you come out of just on a personal level. Us looking back at what how he got that 100, team being in trouble, sticking around. We hardly can find league players here in the island who could bet 50 overs,
right through the inning,
who could bet 40 overs, who could bet 30 overs, and stay disciplined enough to be there at the end. Obviously, the coaching on and off the field, which I do know you're getting. But knowing that's how and then it feels special because to end the game with an even 100. That's the story for me that I'm proud of Marcus.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Marcus.
Congratulations.
Well, that's it from the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and...
Hello, we're not doing a roundup of not for this weekend? Let's do a quick roundup. Come on, gotta do something for preview. What's on this weekend?
A lot.
Well, let's go. What's on?
I might think of that tomorrow, man. I don't think of that today. But actually, we've already spoken about it. The
50 over starts this week. Come on.
Yeah, 50 over league starts on Sunday.
Right.
Is there a Central County?
Supposed to be.
Okay.
They ain't let us know.
Well, okay. So how we gonna do a roundup if you don't know?
Okay. Now you see what we're talking about all this stuff.
We know about the we of course the America's Cup continues.
Yes. It's got to be a race.
Well, if anything like this, where not even a leaf is moving, they'll be out there with oars.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but that is scheduled to continue both Saturday and Sunday. Our netball team is in action in New York. The bowl hockey team jetted out last night. They will be in action come Sunday for the Bowl Hockey World Street Bowl Championships. There's obviously a track meet Saturday morning. There's so much going on. Baseball to
one quick note with the netball. Please follow them on social media. They've been the last 2 minutes done a lot of those girls done a lot of good things. Posting a lot of stuff.
Right.
Facebook Live. You've seen a lot of the parts of the games. So please follow these girls while they're in New York competing.
Oh yeah, Friday evening, tomorrow evening, and 2 matches on Saturday. So
okay,
they'll be tired.
Now we can wrap up.
Okay, well, folks, do enjoy the rest of your evening.